Here's Johnny.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
So simple.
Roll out.
I am Iron Man.
This is a tasty burger.
Welcome to the In Session Film Podcast.
Hello and welcome to Chasing the Gold. I'm In Session Film Awards editor Shadan. Let me be joined again by Amanda Spears. We have a very special episode that I've been waiting for quite a long time. We are doing Golden Globe predictions today. Amanda, how are you feeling?
I feel pretty good. It's been an active couple of days with a lot of with a lot of film groups coming into play. So I've kind of got an idea what I want to do. I kind of have an idea about who's going to be the front runners, and I just would like to say to the Golden Globes, since we're not going to talk TV, you should really reach out to whomever made the Golden Globes for the studio episode of the Golden Globes, because those are better looking than the actual trophies you're currently giving out. I'm just saying.
Wow.
I saw those and I'm like, that I know they can't replicate a real one, but that's a better looking trophy than that weird
That's very true.
gold thing they've got going on right now.
We did get the National Board of Review this morning. So we are recording on Wednesday, December 3rd. I want to read out the award winners for National Board of Review. So One Battle After Another won Best Film. Best Director went to Paul Thomas Anderson, also for One Battle After Another. Leonardo DiCaprio for One Battle After Another. Rose Byrne wins Best Actress for If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. Benicio del Toro, Best Supporting Actor for One Battle After Another. Inga Itzlater Lilius, Best Supporting Actress for Sentimental Value. Eva Victor, Best Directorial Debut for Sorry Baby. Chase Infinity, Breakthrough Performance. Best Original Screenplay went to Ryan Coogler's Sinners. Best Adapted Screenplay to Clint Bentley and Greg Kedar for Train Dream. Arco won Best Animated Film. Best International Film went to It Was Just an Accident. With Cover Up winning Best Documentary. Sinners, Autumn Durald Arkpaw winning Best Cinematography for Sinners. Achievement in Stunts went to Mission Impossible The Final Reckoning. And then I'm going to read the top 10 films. Avatar, Fire and Ash, F1, Frankenstein, Jay Kelly, Marty Supreme, Rental Family, Sinners, Train Dreams, Wake Up Dead Man, Knives Out Mystery, and Wicked for Good. Amanda, any thoughts about NBR before we jump into the Globe?
Well, considering how New York went yesterday, it's looking more and more like this is just PTA's year, and we better just hop on the bandwagon and see how far this is going to go. I do expect tomorrow it will be the front runner for most nominations, probably with Sinners close behind. But it's PTA's year, unless something changes. And we do see this often, where these film groups go one way and then the industry chimes in and they're like, not so fast. So it's not over. Like, I would not, if I were Rose Byrne, start thinking I'm going to win an Oscar.
Yeah.
But it is for PTA, the fact that they're just going to, they've already rubber stamped him twice. And I do think there is a way he could win LA too. And if that happens, things really start looking good. And that means, like, I would be willing to predict it for like SAG Ensemble good, because usually I would not predict this film to win SAG Ensemble.
I think I'm already there at this point. I do want to read now the New York Film Critics Circle, since you mentioned them real quick. So they also gave Best Film to One Battle After Another, Best Director to Jafar Panahi for It Was Just an Accident. Great couple days for him. Wagner Moura won for The Secret Agent for Best Actor. Rose Byrne for If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. So a phenomenal couple days for her. Benicio del Toro again for One Battle After Another. Amy Madigan getting a mention for Weapons and Supporting Actors. Best Screenplay to Marty Supreme. Best International Film, The Secret Agent. Best Animated Film, K-Pop Demon Hunters. Best Cinematography, Sinners again. Best nonfiction film, My Undesirable Friends Part 1, Last Air in Moscow. Best first film to EFIS. And that's the New York Film Critics Circle. So, Amanda, did those announcements sort of influence anything for you in terms of the Globes, or was it just sort of confirmation?
Confirmation and then a little bit of salt, because people like to think it's over. It's not over yet. It's far from over. But it is starting to look like, we talked about this with the tale of the narratives, and it's starting to look more and more like it is PTA's year.
Yeah.
But I will say, even like Oppenheimer, you don't want to peak at the Golden Globes.
Yeah.
That is not, you know, yes, it's great to win 5 or 4, and maybe you're the Oppenheimer in that case, but look at Emilia Perez, look at La La Land, look at some of these films that peaked way too early and then lost all the momentum going in. I mean, it's still not great to do what Anora did last year, and you want to be somewhere between Anora and like La La Land, but you know, whether it's TV or film, and I say that just to help people out at home, 3 Golden Globes is a lot of Golden Globes.
Yeah.
And if you're winning 5, it better be in song and score. It better not be like picking up 3 acting awards with director, because they're going to be aiming for you at that point. They're going to be you're going to start seeing those smear campaigns of like, really, we're going to do this?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're seeing that a little bit with Hamnet already, of like, was this film overhyped? Okay, so we should mention that Golden Globes nominations come out on December 8th, so this podcast will be out well before then, but as you are getting your predictions together, hopefully our discussion today will help you out a little bit. So, Amanda, given that you are my lovely guest, what category should we start with?
Let's start with supporting actor and actress, because those to me are always better predictors of the Oscars, usually, because they're not separated. There's only 5 nominees.
There are 6 nominees, correct?
Oh, I thought there's 5.
I think there's 6. I just
Did they up it to 6? And I can't. They keep changing things on me. It really, really is kind of annoying. There's so many lists that came out today. Yeah, I'm like, I'll just pull up Golden Globe nominations from last year and see what happens.
We are ferociously Googling. I'm pretty sure it's 6, but I want to double check before we get into everything.
Yeah, I just got the Golden Globes website up, so I just need a second, and then I will have a female drama.
So there's 6 nominees in the main categories, and then the cinematic box office achievement category has 8 nominees for some reason.
Okay. Well, let's get started then. So 6 nominees. So again, it still is a better indicator because it's not 10 or 12.
Right.
So, do you want to start with supporting actor?
I'll let you start with supporting actor. Go ahead and read me your list.
Okay, my list is Benicio del Toro, Sean Penn, both for One Battle After Another, Stellan Skarsgård for Sentimental Value, Paul Mescal for Hamnet, Adam Sandler for Jay Kelly, and then I'm going to say Jonathan Bailey, because he's the hot star of the moment, for Wicked for Good.
Interesting. I have the 5 that you have, but I went with Jacob Elordi for Frankenstein.
I wasn't overly impressed with Frankenstein. I think he's the best performance in it, but I just didn't like the movie. I think it's a tech player. He's in so much makeup. It just...
I completely agree with you, but I do think that sentiment that you just shared of, I wasn't a fan of the movie, but I liked his performance, is the thing that I keep hearing over and over again. And I just think that could be enough to push him through. The alternate that I had is Josh O'Connor for Wake Up Dead Man, potentially.
See, I could see how Delroy Lindo maybe sneaks in if there's an alternative
And that I would,
from My Six.
yeah, I think that makes sense. I don't know if either of them makes more sense than Jonathan Bailey as a good alternate option, but
The Globes like their stars. So him sneaking in after he got a SAG Award nomination last year, and now he's the sexiest man alive, which won't help him get an Oscar nomination, but might help him make this
yeah,
list.
that's definitely not a bad call. I'm going to stick with Jacob Elordi, but that is definitely something to look out for. I think if Jonathan Bailey does get in, it'll be like a good show for Wicked for Good, because there's a lot of talk of like, well, it's the second one. It's probably not going to do as well with voters. The reviews aren't as strong, et cetera, et cetera. But I don't know if that matters. I think the blockbuster aspect of it. Okay, so Amanda, would you like to read me your supporting actress picks?
Okay. Ariana Grande for Wicked for Good. Elle Fanning for Sentimental Value. I'm going to go with Teyana Taylor and Regina Hall for One Battle After Another. That gets me to 4. Gwyneth Paltrow for Marty Supreme. Same reason. She's a movie star. And then I don't really have a 6, but I'll go with Inga Ibsdottir Lilelis for Sentimental Value.
Okay, so I also have Taylor, Grande, Fanning, Lilius, Paltrow. For my 6th slot, I am really torn because I know a lot of people are predicting Amy Madigan, but I just don't see that happening at the Globes in particular. Like, it can happen at other awards bodies, but I just don't. I'm probably going to be wrong. So I am going to go out on a limb and say Emily Blunt, because they love her. She's been nominated for random things like salmon fishing in the Yemen. The first award she ever got was for Victoria way back in the day, like that mini series.
No, it was for a limited series. It wasn't for
Limited
Victoria.
series.
It was for another limited series. Yeah.
Okay, well, the point is the Globes really like her, and she has a good track record. So, and it's a very showy performance. Like, regardless of what you think of that film, they like their stars. She'll be on the red carpet with John Krasinski, et cetera, et cetera. So that's my going out on a limb and supporting actress. Emily Blunt.
Yeah, if I was a braver person, I would go with Wumi Masaku for Sinners, but I'm not a brave person.
People are, you mentioned Delroy Lindo. I just feel like in terms of acting, it's going to be Michael B. Jordan or Bug. I would
I agree.
Wrong. Yeah.
I would, that's why I'm saying, like, if I had a 7th, I would put her in.
Yeah.
Well,
I
actually,
would
no,
love
if I had
to
a
be
7th,
wrong.
I might put J-Lo in, but I don't, it's the Globes. They might change voting bodies, but they still like their celebrities in attendance. So.
Yeah, I would love J-Lo to get in just because I would like to keep hope of that alive. It's probably not going to happen, but if she's going to get in anywhere, it'll be the Globe. So it'll be a fun surprise if she does end up getting it.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's move to drama actor. I think this category feels a little bit settled. You can tell me if I'm wrong. I have Michael B. Jordan, Wagner Moura, Joel Edgerton, Jeremy Allen White, Dwayne Johnson, and Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah, I have all of those except us. You have Jerry. Do you have Oscar Isaac? No,
I don't.
Yeah, I would take out Jeremy Allen White, and you have Daniel Day-Lewis. Maybe this is where we see Russell Crowe. I don't think they've awarded him 3 years in a row. The film's got no traction. He's probably going to be nominated on the TV side also. So I don't feel like they're going to have a real reason to get him there. So I think they might go with someone who's a little bit more of a celebrity and just looking down the list. I mean, they might even, like, you can't even count out someone like Denzel Washington in this kind of a 5 because it's not the best list. But yeah, I agree with everything except for maybe Dwayne Johnson and Jeremy Allen White are the weakest of the two.
I would definitely agree they're the weakest. I just think Dwayne Johnson, for the celebrity of it all, I feel like they'll just nominate him. I I do think if he misses a nomination, I mean it'll just be finished, like dead in the water for that film.
Yeah, I don't see him getting in. I don't have him. I mean, I have him in because I don't know what else to do.
Right.
But I also, frankly, they have loved nominating Oscar Isaacs in the past. So it's possible, as like a celebrity goes, they might just, if they're going to nominate Frankenstein and Jacob Elordi's getting in for Frankenstein, they might just like put him in.
Yeah.
Because he is still a celebrity too. So it's.
Right. And we should mention, like, I feel like people know this, but just for good measure, I think what we predict and what we want to happen are two completely different things. Like, I personally would not nominate Dwayne Johnson, but I think the Globes are going to. But, like, it has nothing that sometimes the point I'm trying to make is that it has nothing to do with quality sometimes.
Oh, no. No, it's like I said, it's what I want to happen and what I've predicted are usually not the same thing.
No, they are not. I do want to just say, as a possibility, we could see Will Arnett get in for Is This Thing On? As a potential alternate, but he's an alternate for a reason.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. But I still think there's a road for Michael B. Jordan to win this. I don't think Wagner Moura has it sewn up yet.
I think it's Wagner Moura or Jordan. I don't see anyone else.
No, I mean, it's really those two, and then it's going to be 4 other people. But I think if Sinners has a good morning, that only helps Michael B. Jordan's chances of winning this.
100%. Okay, for drama actress, I am sort of torn. I don't really like my list. This is what I went with. So I have Jennifer Lawrence for Die My Love, Renata Ramsey for Sentimental Value, Jessie Buckley for Hamnet, Julia Roberts for After the Hunt, Laura Dern for Is This Thing On, and Jodie Foster for A Private Life.
Those are your 6. Do you have Tessa Thompson?
I just took her out and replaced her with Jodie Foster.
Yeah, I like Jodie Foster because I mean I saw the preview and I was hoping this was going to be like the 11th hour film that we were hoping we would get. Mm-hmm. But it's in French and English, so even if she's not going to win, she could still in the race be a factor because it is very impressive, and you don't see that with a lot of American actors or actresses speaking 2 languages as fluent. I mean, she's fluent in French. If she does win an Oscar for this, we're going to see Bradley Cooper try it next.
Yeah, and I mean the Globes love Jodie Foster. She won a couple of years ago for The Mauritanian, so.
Yeah, out of nowhere, she won for The Mauritanian. Yeah. She just won last year too, so it is. They might not feel the same about putting her back in, but I think she's Jodie Foster, and it's just nice to have her back.
I completely agree, and she's very good in the film. I mean, she's always good. I don't think it's like an all-time great Jodie Foster performance, but she's solidly good.
I did love Sofia Vergara heckling her last year when she won. Like, there was no way in the world you were going to win, but I love it. I love the Globes. People get drunk and they say inappropriate things.
Yes, the Globes are the most.
Yeah, we should make Adam Sandler's speech even better because he gave one at Gotham, and it's online now. And I'm like, would you not want this man to get up there and about his daughter sexually harassing Timothée Chalamet? I'm like, that would be awesome. That's not like my new favorite idea of celebrity pairing. Like,
the Globes are the most fun award show to watch. Do you have anyone else in your 6 that I didn't list? Are you predicting Tessa Thompson?
Yeah, I was thinking about putting Tessa Thompson in, but I agree. I think Jodie Foster. Hedda is a small film on Amazon.
Yeah.
I loved it. I mean, but I like the play, so I'm not the one to ask. But yeah, I mean, this is just basically Jessie Buckley and 5 other people.
Right. Do you have both Julia Roberts and Laura Dern?
I have Jessie Buckley, Renate, Jennifer Lawrence, Julia Roberts, Jodie Foster, You know what? I am going to put Tessa Thompson in there. I think they want to.
Mm,
I think they're going to want to prove they're not. They've had issues with their diversity in the past with their voting panel, so I think that maybe they just sneak her in. But Laura Dern is an all-time Globe favorite pick for a reason.
yeah, yeah. And a lot of people are going with Sydney Sweeney. She's my alternate. I think there's an outside shot. I think that, she's the ingenue, glitzy star, controversial star, but she's still
Yeah, she's really done a number recently.
All right, comedy actor. Speaking of Timothy Chalamet, so I have Leonardo DiCaprio, Timothy Chalamet, Jesse Plemons, Ethan Hawke, George Clooney, and Lee Byung-hun from No Other Choice. But I'm really not sure about that sixth slot.
I have all 5 of those except for Hun, because you are forgetting they have never not nominated Daniel Craig for a Knives Out film. So I'm going with the stat and putting in Daniel Craig as my 6th spot. But this is Leo and Timmy's race. What?
Yeah. Oh no, I said he's probably the safer choice. I completely agree. He's my alternate. But yeah, I mean it's Leo and Timmy. I think all season long it's Leo and Timmy's race, and everyone else is just going to be happy to be there.
You know, I was looking back at the youngest winners because I just don't buy yet that he's going to win this easily, Timmy. And when Adrian Brody won for The Pianist, it's very arguable that film was probably the runner-up to Chicago because it won adapted screenplay, it won director, he won actor. We don't need to get into the semantics of this being a Russell Crowe, of this being a Roman Polanski film, but at the time, in that it was probably number 2. And then I went back and looked at The Goodbye Girl because Richard Dreyfuss currently is number 2 in that youngest spot, and I think he was actually helped out by the fact that John Travolta was nominated at 24. So by comparison, Richard Dreyfuss at like 29-ish looked a little bit older, and he had already been in Jaws. So I don't know yet if Timmy can beat Leo when this feels like the chance to give Leo his second.
I mean, I agree with you. I think, though, I'm becoming more and more convinced to jump on the Timmy train just because the early reactions and, reviews have been really incredible. So, I mean, Marlon Brando also won an Oscar pretty young. Because basically, if Timothy Chalamet gets nominated for Marty Supreme, the only other person who's gotten 3 Oscar nominations by the age of 30 is Marlon Brando in the Best Actor category. So, who knows? I just think the chips are falling more in Timothy's favor as time goes on. But I'm with you. I'm still not 100% convinced, but I think Marty Supreme is going to be really strong. So
yeah, we'll see. I haven't seen it. I can't see it until Christmas. Yay, I get to see a movie about ping pong.
I'm excited. It's going to be good.
I love ping pong, so I'm not upset. But yeah, if I had a 7th place, I would look out actually for Brendan Fraser for Rental Family, because I think, if Plemons or Hawke are a little weak or they don't want to go with Clooney, he seems like he could be in the running for that 5th spot. But that's the only other person I really think has any chance in that mix.
Let's do comedy actress because I feel pretty good about this list. So I have Emma Stone for Begonia, Cynthia Erivo for Wicked for Good, Rose Byrne for If I Had Legs I'd Kick You, Amanda Seyfried for The Testament of Anne Lee, Jason Finley for One Battle After Another, and then I'm going with Kate Hudson for Song Sung Blue because she's a Nepo baby. She's won at the Globes before.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. That's my 6 also. The only other person I would maybe look out for is June Squibb because they did nominate her last year, and she's just so sweet, and it's so cute that she's still working. But otherwise, I don't. Maybe Olivia Colman, but I doubt it. I doubt they're going to nominate the Roses.
There's two other names I want to throw out there. I think Dakota Johnson could be a thing. She was in a ton of stuff this year. Materialist did really well, especially internationally. She's a Nepo kid. They love those. So she could be sort of an outside shot. And then Eva Victor for Sorry Baby. I don't think that's going to happen, but it just did really well at the Spirit Awards. And she's been, getting a lot of first-time filmmaker mentions. So she could be a surprise. But I feel pretty solid about those 6.
Yeah, it does feel like a good 6, but you get a surprise every now and then, and you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. They like so and so.
Mm-hmm.
So.
All right, Amanda, what does your best director list look like?
Oh, best director. Oh my God, let's see. I have my list up. I don't know why they're in an order I didn't approve of. Okay. So, PTA for One Battle After Another, Ryan Coogler, Sinners, Chloe Zhao, Hamnet, Joaquin Trier for Sentimental Value, Josh Safdie for Marty Supreme, and then I'm going to say they're going to give John M. Chu a Good For You Buddy kind of nomination. Just to be different, because I'm sure I'll probably agree with your list, but I just, not to pick the same 6 people, because the Globes sometimes do something a little, out there.
Yeah, so I have Jafar Panahi for my 6th, which I didn't until I saw the fact that he's picked up a lot of prizes over the last couple days. I would argue that maybe a contender we should be looking at is the director of The Secret Agent, because they've done a lot of campaigning specifically for the Globes for that film. So I think he could surprise. But I think, that 5 is pretty locked in.
Yeah, I probably should switch out Guillermo for Jafar Panahi, but I would still keep John M. Chu in my 6th spot, just as we liked your movies, buddy. You're not going to get the Oscar nod, but maybe we'll be the nice ones. Because sometimes they do, out of the blue, nominate someone who's not going to get an Oscar nomination. And you're like, well, it kind of makes sense for the Globes. And maybe I'm rooting for him just a little bit to get a little individual recognition. I don't know.
1,000%. I think we're going to definitely get some surprises. I mean, All We Imagine is Light got a Best Director nomination last year. So we're going to get something crazy. It's kind of interesting to see what that'll be. And I think the race is sort of coalescing pretty early. So I would love the Globes to kind of do something crazy and make this race a little bit more unpredictable.
And they usually don't disappoint with that. I came up with a list one year where I had 10 names in it. And for fun, I put Ryan Murphy in that 12th, 10th spot. And somebody told me I was mentally ill. I'm like, I didn't say it was going to happen. I just said they like Ryan Murphy Productions. If they over-nominate Prom, it's not out of the realm of possibility they would single him out. But yeah, the Globes, either in film or TV, never disappoint with giving us one wackadoo kind of nomination. They used to be a lot more fun to watch because they didn't rubber stamp the Emmys. So you had a lot of excitement on both sides. But the last few years, the TV side's been a little bit dull. But that, I'm not going to go over the TV nominees. I'm just saying, as a show is concerned.
I think that's true of the film. I think ever since their sort of rebrand, they're trying to be taken a little bit more seriously. So they are sort of trying to predict what they think the big players of the season are going to be. So we're not getting these sort of Angelina Jolie for The Tourist, salmon fishing in the Yemen type nominations as much anymore.
Well, I think there's 2 problems with that. One, they expanded their membership too much. It went from 75 to 100 people to 300. So anytime you triple your membership, that's an issue. And then also, not to go too much into the TV, but they used to really put a spotlight on new shows. So we wouldn't see like repeat winners we wouldn't see all these shows winning Emmys and then winning Golden Globes. And that gets a little dull. Like, yes, of course, there were always exceptions to those rules, but we would see like a new winner. Like they awarded Amy Poehler. The Emmys never got around to her. They never awarded Julia for Veep because it was too American. But we at least would have a show. And I'm not saying they didn't have their issues, but we at least had a show which was kind of fun to watch because, we would get some weird nominees and then we would get some really great, surprise winners, and it made it a little bit more fun. Now it's a little more like if you want to wing your predictions, you kind of got to stick to it. But at least you'll get a few good surprises here and there. So.
Yeah, I definitely think my predictions this year are pretty safe. I'm not really going out on a limb too much. For screenplay, so the Golden Globes combine adapted and original into one screenplay category. I have One Battle After Another, Hamnet, Sentimental Value, Sinners, Marty Supreme, and It Was Just an Accident. Do you have any other films?
Yeah, I think it's those 6, maybe Begonia. They do like Yorgos Lanthimos films, so. But this is the one category, if you win, it doesn't mean you're going to get an Oscar nomination. It also doesn't mean you're going to win the Oscar or even be nominated. You never know what the split is going to be between original and adapted, so it's good to be there, but it's not like the end of the world.
Yes, I loved Begonia. I'm only predicting it for Emma and Jesse at the Globes in comedy, but actor and actress. But oh my gosh, if it got more nominations than that, I would be over the moon.
Well, that's the only other place I would even think of putting it. But because, you just never know when somebody's on their radar or a favorite of theirs, they will keep nominating them.
Yes. Amanda, who do you have in your animated feature category?
This is my weakest category because I don't see a lot of animated films. So let's see. Animated. K-pop Demon Hunters, which I keep hearing a lot about. Zootopia 2. Arco, Elio, Scarlet, and then I'm going to go with Neza 2.
Okay, that's a good list. So I have K-pop Demon Hunters, Arco, Zootopia 2, Scarlet, and then I went with Little Amelie or the character of Rain. But it's very Globes-like to nominate, whatever the Pixar film is. So I should probably predict Elio instead of Little Amelie, but
sometimes they pick the names they like. You never know. Yeah. It could happen. Yeah.
Speaking of a category that I am all over the place, both in terms of the Golden Globes and the Oscars, is Best Original Song. So,
well, remember that the song category at the Globes is very different from the song category at the Oscars because they don't have as many rules as the Film Academy does. Because, again, they definitely want those music stars in attendance. And I'm trying to see where my list is.
Yeah, there's so many examples of, the Golden Globes, like somebody winning for original song and then not even getting the Oscar nomination at all. So there's not a ton of crossover in this particular category. So I have Golden from K-pop Demon Hunters, I Lied to You from Sinners, Zoo from Zootopia 2, Clothed by the Sun from The Testament of Anne Lee, and then I have The Girl in the Bubble from Wicked for Good, and then I have Dear Me, the Diane Warren song from her documentary Relentless.
Yeah, the Globes don't feel the need to award Diane Warren or a nomination. They've awarded her twice at least. So I have Drive, the F1 song from Ed Sheeran. K-pop Demon Hunters, which I don't understand why Golden is like the front runner. Sinners, I Lied to You. And then I have, what is the other Sinners song I have? Last Time I've Seen the Sun. The Girl in the Bubble. And because it's the Golden Globes and I think they want Miley Cyrus there, I'm going to go with Fire and Dream as one, Avatar, Fire and Ash.
Oh, that is a good call. I like your list a lot more than mine. I think both the Ed Sheeran song and the Miley Cyrus song is like a phenomenal call.
I will just point.
Yeah.
Oh, so go for it.
I was just gonna say I put Zoo in because I was like, it's Shakira and she's like a big international, icon of music.
Yeah, that still makes sense too. I will just add about Ed Sheeran in either Zoo or F1. He did win an Emmy a couple years ago for A Beautiful Game, his song from Ted Lasso. He has a Grammy, obviously. If being the big capital letters, if he wins an Oscar, he will be a musical. I will go see the Ed Sheeran musical.
Yeah.
From the EGOT.
Yeah. I'll fly to New York.
Yeah, we can go to New York.
Yeah.
I feel the same way about Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross or Ludwig Göransson when they finally get around to it. I'm like, I'm gonna go see that. Like, I would love to see what the 9 Inch Nails musical is going to be. But yeah, it's very rare to win both, so song and score. So I think the score writer for La La Land, Justin Hurwitz, I think. Yes, he's the last person to win both song and score. I think he was still involved with a song from La La Land.
Before we jump to score, Amanda, I wanted to ask you about the songs from Wicked because I don't feel strongly about either of them. Where do you fall, both in terms of the Golden Globes and is one song, do you think, stronger than the other one? Do you think both could miss? Do you think both are going to get in?
I really hope Cynthia Erivo is not part of the nomination, would be part of the nomination for her song, because it feels like that song that they shoehorn into these movies to win best song for a musical. Like that Suddenly song from Les Mis, whereas A Girl in the Bubble almost feels like a song that was cut from the musical for time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying it was. I don't want to be starting that kind of a rumor because that could get it disqualified, but it feels more like a part of the musical than it does the other one, which maybe is why Ariana Grande is our supporting actress frontrunner.
I would agree. Okay, so let's do score. That's the last category for us to cover. I have Sinners, Hamnet. Well, that's not the last category. I apologize. But anyway, I have Sinners, Hamnet, One Battle After Another, Frankenstein, Marty Supreme, and Jay Kelly.
Yeah, I might see Wicked again just because they did nominate the first one. But I agree with that list. It's really going to be Sinners. This is going to be Ludwig Göransson's third. Yeah, I don't really see much competition for him this year. That Sinner score. And one of the things that helped Alan Menken win score so often at the Oscars was the songs. So the fact that they probably aren't going to be able to differentiate the songs as much as from the movie will probably only help Göransson with that win. And I'm just looking up that Oscar fact because I just want to make sure I'm right. Or if I'm not right, I want to correct myself.
I think Johnny Greenwood for One Battle After Another isn't completely out of the race yet. I think that he could be because he's so overdue and also beloved. And Ludwig Göransson, has, I believe, 3 Oscars. Am I wrong?
He has 2 right now for Oppenheimer and for Black Panther. Yes, and I was right. Justin Hurwitz did write the songs with Pasek and Paul. So he was the last person before like you get into like those Alan Menken kind of people who were winning song and score together. But it is a very rare feat to do this if he can pull it off, Ludwig Göransson. But I always like to point out one thing about Ludwig Göransson that a lot of those songwriters like Pasek and Paul or Lin-Manuel Miranda do not have yet. He has a top 4 Grammy, folks. That's something like the all-time greats have. Alan Menken has one. Sondheim has one. You want to be one of the best songwriters and you're writing for visual media, that's a place where you want to see at least a nomination at some point.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree. Okay, so the last category we have is
2 categories. We have 2 categories left.
Okay, so did we not do? Oh wow! Well, I was gonna say foreign language / international film we haven't done.
Yeah, we haven't done any of the pictures other than animated, but I thought you were saving them for last, so I didn't say anything.
Well, I guess we are saving them for last. Okay, Amanda, who do you have for your foreign language film category?
Again, this is one of those categories where the rules are very different from the rules for the Oscars. Some countries can have multiple films nominated at the Globes. They awarded Clint Eastwood. I mean, that should have been the year they changed the rules and allowed international films into best drama. But yeah, they have nominated. He has won. And if the film was not made in the United States, it would have won probably the Oscar that year. But just because your film's in Japanese, the U.S. cannot enter that category at the Oscars. So
and we should mention it has been a couple years since they did change the rules, so international films can be nominated in the main categories of the Golden Globes now.
Yeah, they weren't allowed at like the year Parasite, for example.
Right.
But so here we go. It Was Just an Accident from France. No Other Choice from South Korea. The Secret Agent from Brazil. Sentimental Value from Norway. Sound of Falling from Germany. And The Voice of Hin Rajab from Tunisia. No, I have not seen any of these films. I have an eye condition, so I can't see them in theaters. I have to wait for them to be available, basically either on my TV or sometimes, depending on the size of the font, on my laptop. Which is the one thing I did like about Anora, is that the subtitles were very easy to read for me.
Okay, Amanda, can you read me your 6 again? Because you put a surprise in there and it shocked, and it was like, oh.
It was just an accident.
It was just an accident.
No Other Choice.
No Other Choice.
South Korea has become a big player quick. The Secret Agent. Yeah, I mean, TV and film, they have become huge players. And this is not a Bong Joon-ho film. The Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, Sound of Falling, la 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 la, and The Voice of Hind Rajab.
Okay, so I have 5 of the 6, but Sound of Falling was my alternate. But instead of Sound of Falling, I have Sarat in there because I feel like
from Spain.
From Spain, I just keep hearing more and more buzz about it. It is also a neon film, so that's kind of tricky of like how many neon titles are going to get in there. But that's the 6 that I have.
Yeah, I mean, it's the 6th nomination spot is where you take a risk. Don't take 4 risks in one category, folks. But if you're going to take one, play it safe for like 4 or 5 of them and then put one in. That's fine.
Very true. Okay, so speaking of taking a risk, this is my drama category that has a big risk in it. But I'm just going to do it just for fun. Okay, so I have Sinners, Hamnet, Sentimental Value, It Was Just an Accident. And then I have The Secret Agent in there. And I also have Train Dreams in there.
I have not seen Train Dreams yet. I don't know why I haven't. But I kind of like that list because if Wagner Mora is going to be a heavy player for winning a lead acting prize for an international film, he kind of needs that film to get in.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if I can predict him if it's just an international feature.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's probably going to be Frankenstein over Train Dreams, but I just feel like that movie, I don't know, it may appeal to international voters more than Frankenstein. Frankenstein is a little bit sluggish. It's like, I don't know, I'm probably crazy, but I'm going with Train Dreams.
I don't know. I think Frankenstein might not even make the Oscar top 10. If it does, it's going to need a lot of help from a lot of those tech categories because it's not Del Toro's best. It's not even his best monster.
Yeah. If Frankenstein gets in, I mean, it's going to be like a 9 or 10 slot. If we were still doing the sort of 5 to 8, whatever sliding scale, like there's no way it would even be in contention. I think if it's just,
if there was a stronger animated film this year, I would almost think an animated film would be able to bump it from that 10th spot, but it's going to need a lot of tech nominations. I mean, I like the part where the Frankenstein narrates as a change. Spoiler alert, that's not a big change, but it's still, I mean, maybe it's because I had to read this book in high school. Maybe it's just because I've seen it so many iterations of it. I think Del Toro's better than this film.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Frankly.
I agree. And I've said this before on this podcast, but I don't even think it's a good adaptation of the book, which I adore. So I think
it's not. It's not.
Yeah. Frankenstein is tricky because it is well crafted, it's beautiful, but I think there's a lot also working against it. So it is one of those sort of question marks for me of like, I also didn't think Nightmare Alley was going to get a Best Picture nomination, and it did. So maybe there's just enough passion for Del Toro and his ability to craft beautiful looking films.
And what I loved about Del Toro and what really helped him with The Shape of Water wasn't just the fact that, he again made another film about a creature, is that he did it for under $200 million.
Mm-hmm.
And the way he did that was he gave a lot of these people who had worked in television their first big break in film. And you have to remember the year that film won Best Picture, Game of Thrones had an episode that cost more than that film. Not Coda, duh. Episode of Game of Thrones could cost more than that film, but The Shape of Water, because he gave a lot of people their first big break, and really that's how he saved a lot of money. So even technically that was impressive. They wouldn't give him $300 million to make a sex movie about a monster.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think, when The Shape of Water came out, there was sort of at the time he was sort of overdue, underappreciated, the sort of auteur filmmaker that hadn't had his moment yet. And The Shape of Water, had more of a message. Frankenstein, I guess, has a message, but The Shape of Water really leaned into that, who are we ostracizing, who are we othering in society kind of a message, which really resonated. I don't think Frankenstein emotionally resonates. I think you watch it and you think that movie is beautiful. I don't think...
Yeah, it's pretty to look at, but I didn't really care about the characters. And I usually do. It's just, it didn't. I get why Netflix would let Del Toro do whatever he wants, but still, it's, Netflix has got a lot of other players that they could spend more time investing in. And it was very bittersweet for, I think, Del Toro to see his friend Alfonso Cuarón be the first one to win it was foreign language at that point, foreign language film for Mexico, because it really, really should have been Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah.
And everyone going into it, even people just casually watching it were like, how do you win all these tech awards and you don't win international feature? And I'm like, it was a shame, but he really really should have been the first one, because that film, my mother never watched international films, but she would, you know, when she saw me watching it, she's like, okay, yeah, like, you know, like some people don't like subtitles. It's fine. I get it. Like you can't make everything. She doesn't like monster movies, but she's still seeing all the visual effects and you're like, wow. But yeah, not his best.
You know,
Not his best.
it'll be interesting because I think Netflix doesn't have a film priority yet for the season. So if something like Train Dreams were to overperform with the Golden Globes, I think that would really which I prefer Train Dreams, so I would love that. But yeah, I mean, or if Jay Kelly, you know, really overperforms, like that could really change the trajectory of what Netflix decides to do. So it'll be really interesting to watch.
Yeah, I think it might be Jay Kelly is probably their best bet if I had to pick one.
Yeah, I do think Frankenstein could win more just because I think it's in contention to win, you know, makeup and production design, things like that. But I think in terms of nominations, Jay Kelly can definitely clean up. And Frankenstein, I don't know, Frankenstein could definitely be a movie, one of those movies that gets a ton of nominations and maybe only wins one, or maybe doesn't even win anything. Okay, so for best comedy, I have One Battle After Another, Marty Supreme, Wicked for Good, Begonia, Jay Kelly, and I'm going with The Testament of Anne Lee because I absolutely love that film. Wake Up Dead Man, Knives Out Mystery is probably a smarter choice, but I'm going to go with my heart on that one.
And I'm going to leave my heart out of this and go with Wake Up Dead Man because it hasn't missed. They love Knives Out. They just really have loved those films. Netflix is not going to let it miss. I think there is a world where if they really love that movie, someone like Glenn Close sneaks into the 6th spot for supporting actress. But yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not a bold person, but that will definitely make Netflix's day. I mean, Netflix will probably be very close in the film race to Warner Brothers with nominations.
1,000%. 1,000. Amanda, do you have sort of any other like no guts, no glory, or just things to look out for? What Monday morning rolls around, what's going to be a nomination that makes you really over the moon excited?
Oh, I would really like to see, you know, and I'll say I'd like to see John M. Chu get nominated. I think, you know, it's hard to direct a musical really well, and he did find a way to do that. And I would like him to see a little more recognition than just the critics, because it's probably not going to happen at DGA. It's probably not going to happen at BAFTA. It's probably not going to happen at the Oscars. So you know, that would be my heart over head prediction, just to like see him slip in and get that individual recognition that I think he deserves, just to say, yeah, you did it, buddy. Mm-hmm. And they have done that in the past, because remember, they did nominate, oh God, I can't even think of, they've nominated just directors out of the blue in the past for kind of that same reason. And, you know, after last year's Oscar race for Best Director, he's not out of it yet.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, I would say if Train Dreams and The Testament of Anne Lee have a good morning on Monday, I would be ecstatic. And I hope Rose Byrne continues the sort of hype train she is going, because I think she's phenomenal. And if I had like that kick you. Yeah, I think Jessie Buckley, she's as safe as a get, but I would just love to see Rose Byrne kind of fully embraced in this moment. I think that would be great.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to see, One Battle After Another, conservatively right now, let's just look at this. It's going to get picture, director. It might be a little weak in screenplay, but it's probably still going to show up. Of the top races, that's probably its least. Actor, actress, 2 supporting acting nominations, score, that's 8 right there. If it gets 9 or 10 with a supporting actress nomination or 2, that's going to be a huge stamp of approval, because the Globes only do one of 2 things well, even with the change. they either predict the Oscars or they influence the Oscars. Last year when they picked Amelia Perez, they were trying to influence the Oscars. It didn't work, but we could see one battle after another in the 9 or 10, and that is a lot of Golden Globe nominations, folks. That would definitely be the stamp of approval. But Sinners will not be far behind because it's going to have actor, picture, director, screenplay. Conservatively, then it's going to also have song, at least one, maybe two. It's going to be at 6 or 7 before you even consider a supporting nomination. So the race is not over.
Yeah, I mean, I think Sentimental Value is going to have quite a few nominations. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see like something like The Secret Agent. Does that surprise and get a lot of nominations? Does Jodie Foster get in? It was just an accident. Like, does an actor from that film surprise and get in? Like, they've done that before, where they've nominated, an international actor, even if they're not very well known, if the film is strong.
Yeah, I think last year when they completely missed the Best Picture winner, usually when they do that, they kind of pull back and play it a little bit more conservatively, because that doesn't make them feel good that they completely missed, director, both of their pictures lost, and actress in a comedy.
Yeah,
that doesn't make them feel great that they had all the right nominees, not to mention screenplay. I mean, well, they had the right screenplay winner. That you can't hold them against, but still, it's like after they missed so many big categories last year, both of their films lost, their director winner lost, their comedy actress winner, which I still think was inspiring, but when they had that many losses, I could see them being a little bit more conservative this year as far as like, we're not going to do anything wackadoo.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting because you mentioned last year they're trying to influence. I think one area where they really did influence the Oscars was Fernanda Torres, because once she got that nomination and then subsequently the win, that really set a lot of things in motion. So I'm kind of going to be looking for that of like, again, Train Dreams, for example. If Joel Edgerton does get in, I think that's a really strong tell. And say somebody like Ethan Hawke misses, like that could be very telling for where that Best Actor race is going to go.
Yeah, and for Joel Edgerton, if he can get some momentum, remember the SAG Awards, and we can talk about those another time because those are my specialty. They love Netflix. I mean, they love Netflix.
They're gonna be on Netflix, so they are on.
Well, exactly, but still, like they love Netflix shows and films. So Joel Edgerton, if he can get a little momentum and get through Globes and SAG, the Globe might be harder for him to get the nomination at than SAG.
I was gonna say I think SAG would be an easier ride because he does seem so well respected among his peers. I do think.
Yeah, he seems like the kind of actor where maybe it's his turn. It might be his turn. Like it maybe not as strongly as Michael B. Jordan, but it might be his welcome to the club nomination time.
Yeah, I completely agree. It'll be interesting because I do think a lot of the nominees that we're looking at are repeat nominees. Like so far, potentially we only have Rose Byrne, Joel Edgerton.
I would have to check Rose Byrne. She might have been nominated for Damages.
Oh, at the start, I mean, yes, but I mean, in terms of the Oscars, like so far, we don't have too many first timers that are, maybe on the tail, like the supporting actress category potentially, but a lot of repeat nominees. So that'll be interesting to see how that takes shape.
Yeah, it'll be interesting with that, and then it'll also be interesting to see if we can keep seeing this one battle after another. Are they going to do the same thing as like Oppenheimer, and they're just going to give it both actor and supporting actor? And I mean, that's a lot of awards, and I don't think I think there is a world where Chase Infinity could win actress at the Globes.
Yeah,
it's not out of the realm of possibility when you think about how much they love newcomers.
I was going to say, there's nothing the Golden Globes love more than anointing a new ingenue.
Yeah, it's
So
like,
that
I don't know if Owen Cooper for Adolescence can win SAG, but I definitely think he could win the Golden Globe. Like,
mhm,
they
mhm,
love to be the ones to say, see, we did that.
mhm.
But
Yeah,
it's,
and that's why I think, in supporting actors like Ariana, I don't think she's necessarily a lock at the Globes. I think somebody like Inga or Tayana could be more of a Golden Globes shocker type of a moment.
maybe, but she is still a music star, and she is considered the best part of Wicked. And when I saw her do the reprise of I'm Not That Girl, I'm like, there's your Oscar clip. Just show that. That's a good enough reason to give it to her. She could cry and be in tune and not annoy the heck out of me like some people in other musicals.
Amanda, any closing thoughts as we say goodbye on our Golden Globes predictions episode of Chasing the Gold?
I would just remind everyone, just because you win all of the film critics groups does not mean you're going to win a Globe or an Oscar or even a BAFTA or a SAG award. Ray Fiennes knows that really, really well. He won every major critics group for Schindler's List, and then went on to spend the rest of the year losing to Tommy Lee Jones. So
Mm-hmm.
it's, as much as it's nice to see Rose Byrne get her all this love and attention, and Seth Rogen's gonna be there, and they could have a great time presenting. There's a good combination for you folks, but it does not mean that she's now the Oscar frontrunner.
Yes,
It
justice
helps.
for my beloved Marianne Jean-Baptiste from Hard Truth.
Yeah, we see this all the time where people become, and just because we haven't seen Jessie Buckley win a lot of the major critics groups does not mean she's not going to win actress at the Oscars. They didn't really start rubber stamping Leo with a bunch of those for The Revenant also, but this time he needs a little help because it's a little bit, if he's going to stave off Timmy, he's got to make the case for it. And the good thing is when he has won on the comedy side, he has done a really good acceptance speech in the past where he's like, I want to thank my fellow comedian, Joaquin Phoenix. It's like, yeah, thank you for making it a little, he's done some pretty decent speeches at the Globes.
Leo can charm very well. Amanda, where can people follow you, find your work?
My work is, you can always find me on Twitter at Miss Amanda Spears. I'm very grateful that I haven't seen a film this year with a dog dying or, he's still not over Anatomy of a Fall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you've heard any sort of background, it's Amanda's little pup has made some fun cameos on Chasing the Gold.
Gus, you can find me on Instagram because Gus does love to watch TV, and so I always make sure that he watches prestige movies. There's always one that's got a few animals in it. Frankenstein was not a big fan of. He wasn't a big fan of Frankenstein.
I was gonna say, have we had any good animal movies? What is that? The Good Boy. There's a dog movie. I don't know. I haven't seen any good animal films lately.
Yeah, he really loved the Banshees of Inisherin.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of his favorites. But he does really like when he sees animals, he does start charging the television, which is adorable. So, yeah, he did watch Frankenstein. That was the last one I posted. He did not really love the monster.
Interesting. Well, yes, I would understand why. So next time we have you on, we'll have to check in with Gus and see what he's been catching up with.
I wanted to show him Beethoven, but I'm afraid he's going to bark for 2 hours straight.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I am Shadan Larkey. Thank you so much for listening to the Golden Globes predictions episode of Chasing the Gold. I will be back post nominations to debrief it all. You can follow In Session Film everywhere. Please like us, review us, tell your friends, and share your own predictions. Tell us where we might be right or wrong. We will be back in a couple days. Amanda, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me back. I love doing this podcast.
And we'll see everybody very soon.